What's up, ladies and gentlemen? I'm back with another one. So this trip I'm gonna talk about is when I went to Belize. So Belize is a place that not a lot of tourists go to, in my opinion, but it's very dope, it's very unique, and it's a hidden gem. So when I went there, we landed in Belize City. I stayed in San Pedro. In order to get there, you have to either fly or take a water ferry. The more convenient, more affordable, and the most unique way to go is by taking a water ferry. Make sure you look up how much taxis cost to get to your destination, because you want to make sure you get charged the proper amount. At the water ferry terminal, there's restaurants and souvenir shops. I ate at this Indian restaurant. I had some butter chicken. It was pretty good. The water ferry is $53 round trip per person. Belize speak different languages. They speak Creole, Spanish, English, and they have their own dialect. Belize was once under the rule of England. While we were there, this tour guide told us that Guatemala was at the brink of invading Belize. England had to step in to stop it. When I was on a water ferry, it took about an hour to get to San Pedro. It was pretty dope, just looking at, all the different views and everything. It was pretty cool. When I got there, I realized that there are no cars on the island of San Pedro. You might see one or two, maybe the most, but the majority of the people, they travel around in golf carts. They have golf carts you can rent, but our hotel came with its own golf cart. It was pretty cool, man. I never experienced anything like that. I never to this day went anywhere that had that experience. While I was there, we were eating lobster for cheap. I mean, it was cheap. I was eating lobster for $10, $15. The reason is because the currency in Belize is in Belizean dollars. For every 2 Belizean dollar is 1 US dollar. So if lobster costs $30 in their money, it's $15 in our money. While I was there, we had a pool on the property and it was close to the beach. Well, it was actually on the actual beach. When I was sitting there, I learned what sandflies were. I never heard of this prior to coming there, but now I definitely know what it is. Sandflies are these bugs, they eat you up, they chew you apart. You need a special sandfly repellent in order to keep them away. Regular bug repellent don't work. They also have a lot of mosquitoes in Belize, so you also want to bring bug repellent to keep all the little biting bugs away. We went to this beach called Secret Beach. Along the ride there were numerous souvenir spots, and there was a guy selling coconuts that he cut open and he put alcohol in it. It was dope. Everybody there was friendly. I didn't feel like I was in harm's way. I didn't feel like it was any danger. When you're traveling, just practice, regular caution. But there, it was amazing. Everybody was friendly. I had a good time. When we went to Secret Beach, we was able to eat in the water. They have a bunch of restaurants that actually have tables in the water, and you go out into the water and you eat. It was cool. It was dope. It was a great experience. I never ever experienced anything like that. One of the people that's famous from there is Sean, the rapper. If you know about him, his father was a very important person in the political world out there, and Sean also held a very high political status in Belize. The tour guide told us that you could normally catch Sean walking up and down the block from where he stay at. He's a regular person. When people come up to him, he take photos, and it's a cool thing. I didn't get a chance to see him, but I was hoping I could have. We also ate at this rooftop restaurant. I had some ceviche. I didn't know they put hot peppers in the ceviche, and my mouth was on fire. But if you love ceviche, they got that there. Go there, have a good time. I was there during COVID, so they had a curfew, but that shouldn't be in effect right now. Another thing I also witnessed was the property there. It was very affordable. You could buy a house for about $200,000 to $300,000. So if you're thinking about, purchasing a vacation spot or a property you could rent out or whatever, you definitely could do it there. One of the excursions I went on was an excursion to the Mayan temples. One of the hotel staff set up a trip. Him and his friends had a little, business on the side that they basically offered to the tourists. Basically, you pay a price. I think it was about $200, maybe $300. And what's included is your water ferry tickets, a taxi to pick you up from the water ferry and take you to this boat, and a ride along this river on a speedboat. It was dope. I never did anything like that. We was riding for about an hour through, the jungle area, through this river. We even passed by Amish colony. You usually see stuff like that in the movies. You usually hear about it and learn about it, but to see it up close in person was crazy. It was out of this world. Those people, they don't believe in technology, but at the same time, in Belize, they are the people who produce the most crops and they export the most goods. So the crazy part about it is they can't use technology in order to do so. They can't drive cars in order to transport their goods. They have to sit in the back of the car, and that's the only way it could work. When we landed at the island where the temples were, it was a dope sight to see. We walked maybe about 5 minutes, and we got to the first temple. It was called the Jaguar Temple. Sitting there looking at this amazing building that people created hundreds of years ago was just mind-blowing. I couldn't help but to realize it was called the Jaguar Temple. I had to ask my tour guide, hey, what other animals do they have on this island? He said, yeah, we have cats. I said, do you have jaguars? He said, yeah, jaguars is here. I couldn't help but to think jaguars are big creatures, and I'm pretty sure they can eat a human. He started to name 5 different cats that he had. Jaguarundis, ocelots, and the last cat he had mentioned was a cat that's about the size of a house cat or whatever. He tried to focus on it as far as to say, like, yeah, that cat is kind of small, you don't got nothing to worry about. But I couldn't help but to think, okay, that jaguar, though, is a big animal. We don't have no weapons, so I had to ask him, hey, the jaguars attack humans? He said, yeah, about 60% of the time. I'm thinking, hey, that's a high percentage. So the whole time I was out there, I couldn't help but to think about a jaguar popping out, being hungry, and looking at me like a steak. Also, when we was out there, we kept hearing this very loud yelling coming from the bushes. It sounded like an animal or beast was about to run and eat somebody. It was a howler monkey. So I never knew what a howler monkey was until then. Howler monkeys have the loudest sound of any mammal on Earth. It's very loud, and they use the sound of a howler monkey for the animals and the sounds we hear in Jurassic Park. So while we hearing the sound going off, I just, had to ask him, hey, what's going on? He told me basically howler monkeys, they're harmless. They don't hurt people. They don't attack. They just yell in order to, warn other howler monkeys that this is his territory. And normally what they do is groups of howler monkeys have a yelling match, and whoever wins the yelling match gets to keep the territory. So whoever could yell the loudest and the longest gets to keep the territory, and the other one has to move. And they do this daily. So, when the howler monkeys was going off, he basically told me that it was a group of howler monkeys approaching another group, and that what was going on. It was dope, man. If you don't know what it is and you never heard it, it would scare you. But once I knew that it was some small monkey that's the size of maybe, a basketball, I don't know. You will realize that there's nothing to be worried about. Part of the temples that they showed us were a bunch of different ones, but one that stood out to me was this one tall temple. There was another one that they said they used to execute people, have sacrifices on the top of the temple and things of that nature. Also, they said they never executed or had sacrifice with children. They also had another landmark, which was a game. They didn't know exactly how it was played, but they said they think it was played with a ball of some sort. They said they didn't know if the winner or the loser were executed, but they know one or the other was executed. My guess was the loser. But that basically was that. He also took us to this area which was a house that one of the people lived in. The roof and everything was tore off. Basically, the walls was semi-attached still, but it basically showed you the outline of how their house was designed. It showed you the rooms that they lived in, you know, the main room and stuff like that. It basically told us that the roof was probably made out of bamboo or some kind of, you know, tree or something like that. But it was just dope to see, man. And it's to think that this stuff was built hundreds of years ago and it's still standing was just amazing. You know, I learned so much there and it was amazing to see. At the end of the tour guide had a homemade meal set up and it was delicious. We ate, it was good, and I enjoyed it. Before I left, I stopped at the souvenir shop and I bought some hot sauce. One of the things I like to do when I'm at these countries is I like to buy local things as far as soap or hot sauce, and definitely magnets. I get a magnet everywhere I go. My refrigerator's full with magnets. So, you know, that was my trip to Belize. It was pretty cool. If you want somewhere to go, you want something fun to do, definitely go there and definitely check that out. You're gonna have a good time, man. Peace. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, share, and enjoy. Also, follow me on Instagram at FlyKing, FLYYYKING. Peace.